Okay, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. There's no
I thought
countdown
there
at
was
all.
going to be a countdown. There's no countdown. Welcome everybody to the Matrix Money podcast. We have a special guest. It's me and FF over here. His name is MetaRyuk. Welcome to the channel. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Crypto Joe. So I've been in the crypto sector for I think almost 7 years now. But before, so I'm currently working in a Fortune 500 organization right now
Okay.
as an intelligence analyst. And I've been in the in this space in the analyst space for almost like 15 years now. And and yeah, metaverse is something that intrigues me, and I've been in this space actively since COVID 2020 onwards, and since then I've been like deep diving into the metaverse for as long as I can remember. So yeah, that's just like a high and lows. Like other than that, if you're interested to know like
Yeah.
what the kind of things that I like to do, uh, other than research, I do love reading comics. I
Okay.
love engaging in constructive debates and discussions.
Yeah.
Uh, so right now, I'm more interested in the crypto space, Web3, and the metaverse sector.
Okay. So you
That's
mentioned
awesome.
comics. Like who's the number one in? What's your favorite comic series?
So I've been a fan of Marvel
All
uh,
right,
for
the
a very
Marvel
long
fan.
time,
There you go.
and
Good choice.
yeah.
I'm a Batman fan. I just gotta put that out
Oh,
there.
Oh,
Jar,
nice.
get out of here. The DC comics.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what led you into the metaverse, and how did you get started?
So um, so the metaverse is a very broad definition. There's no one single definition. Some people have said that, depending on the papers that you read, some people argued that metaverse has been around since video gaming starts, right? For me, the start of the metaverse is the introduction to Project Milo by Microsoft. I think that was one of the opening eyes for me about Project Milo. Even though some argue that it was a fake introduction to Project Milo, as in the POC that was done, but it gave me a sense of the possibility of what can be done in the future.
Okay.
So, so ever since that period of time, I've been more intrigued to the metaverse because people are playing games, and then this thing starts to hype ever since Ready Player Me, opens,
Yeah.
and because of that, sorry, not Ready Player Me, Ready Player One. Once that appeared, everybody was like, "Whoa, this is gonna be the future. Augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality is gonna be the future."
Yeah.
So, yeah, and because of that, I think that's what really intrigues me. And that's basically the reason why I'm really, really deep diving into this space.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, because there was a
Yeah.
huge tidal wave that came in a couple years ago with metaverse. It seemed to fizzle out a little bit, but it looks like there's a momentum in that coming right now. So my follow up question is, what do you see as like a key feature or something that's pulling people back into the metaverse right now?
I think video gaming is one of the aspects of the metaverse that people are not realizing that they are in the metaverse, right? Because some define metaverse as a virtual space where people interact within the cyber realm, and that kind of definition fits the description of the gaming sector, right? You go online, you play the game, you interact via avatars, and that itself is the metaverse in some aspect or some perspectives, right? And I think people are really starting to be inside this metaverse. It's just that when you start to classify it by different set of definition, for example, a web 2 metaverse kind or the web 3 metaverse kind, I think these are two different like classification of the metaverse where people starts to argue, yeah, metaverse is not really is an empty space because they look at the web 3 side, and then on the other hand you see millions of people playing Roblox daily or Minecraft daily, which is already having people. So I think one of the challenge for the web 3 side of thing is getting people to be inside the metaverse in Web3 because of the technical barriers. So you got to have like a crypto wallet. You need to know how to swap tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, I think there is a barrier for many average users who simply just want to play a game,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I got into a few different cryptos that were related to metaverses, and that buried entry that you're talking about, just converting real money into digital money and then trying to get into the game. There's some hurdles, right? So that was
Yeah.
one of the roadblocks I saw when I was trying to get into it myself. FF, I know you got some questions. I also wanted to mention we had a little bit of an abrupt start because I'm an amateur at this. So welcome everybody. We're going to be doing a draw later in the podcast. FF, you want to go ahead and you can talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, there's not too much to say about this drawing. In lieu, or I guess in respect to the Decentraland allowing us to interview them, essentially on behalf of MetaRyuk here, I decided that maybe I should give away some Meta token, or not Meta. What am I saying? It's Metaverse token, but Mana token. Excuse me. Meta does not have a token, so don't look for Facebook's token because you're not going to see it. But yeah, I decided to basically give away some mana. It will be 100 mana. So what I'll obviously need from you, unfortunately, it's going to be sent on the Ethereum network. I know a lot of my viewers have a distaste for Ethereum because of the fees. But you need an Ethereum address. And then one thing to be entered into this is just to put hashtag mana. And that will be at the end, or drawing to the end of this live stream. So stay tuned. If you want free crypto, listen to the interview and then possibly win some mana. And that's about it, guys. Thank you, Jar, for letting me talk about that real quick.
All right, so I just put that down at the bottom. So it's going to be hashtag mana. We'll be doing the draw later in this broadcast. I'll go ahead and put that there. Yeah, so I guess I had one more follow-up question before I let FF take over.
Jar,
And
do you, man? You got it.
because you were sort of leading into this, and it's like the real world going into the digital world, which is the metaverse. But there's this middle ground right now, which is augmented reality, or AR. Did I say AR? Yeah, AR. Do you see them merging together at any point? Do you see an aspect that you can play, or a role that you play in the merger of both of these worlds coming together?
I think it's a possibility. I think there's always a technical possibility when it comes to integrating things like AR or mixed reality. So right now, when it comes to the Web3 metaverse, I've yet to see one that integrates with augmented reality. We do see other platforms, for example, Somnium Space, which are actively focusing on the virtual reality aspect. And one of the things that I like about that particular project is that they are also going to focus on this thing called the Live Forever mode. I'm not so sure if you have heard of it.
No.
So Live Forever mode is basically an initiative that they are planning to develop where you can live forever as an avatar using AI to be displayed forever in your scene. So that is one of the focus for Somnium Space, which I kind of like quite intrigued to it as well. And some other metaverse platforms that I know, including Decentraland, they are trying to focus on getting the virtual reality headset working, right? So for now, they are still in experimental phase.
Okay.
So once they get that part solid, I think the possibility of them developing or integrating with augmented reality application could be a possibility in the near future.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Yeah, because it's always hard to tell what's going to happen until you're already there. So
Yeah.
AR is definitely, with everyone wearing goggles now, walking around
Exactly.
and sort of merging in that real Ready Player One world. It seems like we're pretty close to it right now. So it is exciting.
That was a great question, Jar. I mean, I've seen all the memes. I've
Yeah.
seen the videos also of like YouTubers saying I
Yeah.
survived 24 hours, using my Apple Vision Pro or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's where we're going, is that Ready Player One that you talked about earlier, Meta. And I think that yeah, it's going to be a very interesting world to say the least. And then to follow up on your like forever avatar,
The live forever mode.
yeah, that's also very intriguing to me. And I say that only because the only reason why I even got into AI, just to sort of make a 180 pivot, is because I wanted to develop and code my mother back into existence. I know that sounds crazy, and that's sort of the same reasoning on how Replica was created. If you know about the Replica app, I believe the lady who created Replica lost her friend, and then she wanted to talk to her friend again. So she decided to basically make an AI version using her friend's text messages. So I wanted to do the same thing. I had recording of my mother talking. I had tons of messages from her. So that's actually what got me into AI. That, and then also, I also wanted to help my wife out as well, but more so along the lines of my mother. So that's why I think that when you brought up that like forever avatar again, I'm missing the name of it, but you can correct me. I think that's awesome. I just wanted to
Yeah.
throw that out there, that's an awesome thing to have for the
Absolutely.
future.
Yeah, if I may add to that, the one of the and I think that is one of the development that I really feel we should be looking forward. I think there are a lot of arguments when it comes to, like, is this ethical in the first place, right? To have your avatar living forever with or without consent. But if you look at the current situation, that only famous people tend to live forever. So when I say live forever, meaning they are immortalized by books,
Mhm.
by arts and everything. But general people, average user or people like us, we don't have any historical data that people can rely on. So when technology such as AI, ChatGPT, and others that is coming in right now, hot and fast, we can have our own biography, without using tons of money to publish our own story, right? And then when you have all these plus the integration of AI, um, you can with an avatar of yourself plus your story, you can just imagine it's like an episode of Black Mirror come true, right?
Yeah.
Essentially your future generation are able to interact with you, in person. Well, not technically in person, but virtually,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And this is something that I feel like we should be embarking, right? Straight from the source, rather than from a book, very one dimensional. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the stuff, man, that we are looking forward to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's
That
awesome.
connecting people is such a huge part. And this is especially on the other opposite sides of the planet. Like right now, you're on the other side of the planet or you're somewhere else. And we're right here in a broadcast, but you can do this in a metaverse. You can do this in a virtual setting. So that connection is huge. Definitely.
It really is.
Yeah.
Hey, look at all the entries, man. I think we got
There's,
more entries this
I'm
time
just
than we did.
popping them up here. There's quite a few people right now that joined in.
That's awesome. So, I mean, just to carry on with the brutal interview here, and again, thank you. But time to bombard you with some more questions. Obviously, there's a lot of competition out there, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But what made you pick Decentraland as your target for the metaverse?
Oh, good question. So every metaverse platforms out there, they have their own so-called mission and objective and goals, and I feel like, for example, Sandbox kind of like want to mimic like Minecraft, so many space, want to do like this life forever virtual reality focus, and then you have voxels, and you have Konospheres, and you have Decentraland. So one of the interesting thing about Decentraland is the, at least from my perspective, my research is the ability to be. It's a very flexible platform. Everybody can use it. You have the in-world builder, and then you also have templates given to you. I mean, that's the technical side of things. But
Mhm.
one of the things that the unique aspects of Decentraland that I feel like people do not know is the ability for you to conduct e-commerce transaction within the in-world itself.
Mhm.
So, so when you look at other platforms, you can see that their way of so-called creating and making money is through via creation of uh, a certain, like creating a 3D object and then sell it in their marketplace, or trading the lands, or NFTs. That is pretty traditional. But when you look at Decentraland, you can actually conduct business within the platform itself. So you have like a virtual building, for example, and then you can program certain aspects of the building. Say, for example, you want to do like a pay-per-view a movie, for example. So you go inside the world, you open up the door, you see like a TV, a virtual TV, and then when you click on it and they say, oh, you got to pay a certain amount of money in order for you to watch TV, to watch this show, for example.
Wow.
You pay, and then you get to watch it. So these are the technical possibilities that are in Decentraland that somehow, unfortunately, not a lot of people are aware, but it exists. You are able to do e-commerce directly within the platform itself, which is something very unique as compared to others.
Wow.
That's pretty diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and to have that ability opens it up for small creators like ourselves, Jar and I. It opens it up for even larger creators to expand their
Yeah.
e-commerce out to the metaverse. I mean,
It
that's
kind of levels the playing field, right? It
yeah,
levels the playing
exactly.
field and puts everyone on the same line. And exposure is going to be huge. So yeah, these are all selling features for sure.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into another question that I had that I was going to save until later because I try not to be one that focuses on money too much. But you talked about, setting up, a show, right? And then you can basically charge people to enter that show. And then obviously, if you're charging them, you're making some coin. And my question is, can you make money? And obviously that's a yes, but are there any other examples outside of the e-commerce that's there that you've seen in Decentraland?
So there are several ways where people make money that doesn't necessarily benefit the platform itself, but that benefit you as the manager of the event that you are creating. So what I've seen so far is, for example, if you have an event, let's say a competition or musical event that you wanted to host, anybody, because you have this possibility of token gating, right? So you can set your event that only people that have the tokens, the NFTs, for example, can enter the event, right? So you can create your own NFTs, host it or open it, sell it in OpenSea, for example, and then people can just go to OpenSea and purchase your event. That you are financially benefiting it from people buying your NFTs, and then that NFTs turns into a utility. For example, it becomes like a ticket for you to enter the virtual space and and enjoy the event there. And then that's just one of it. So another another way to like make money traditionally is via creating and then selling it in the decentralized marketplace. That's another way. One of the most common way is to trade lands. You purchase, and then after that you sell it for an additional percentage to get profit from flipping, which I don't really fancy, because the idea of purchasing land is for you to build rather than to sell back. So and I think that's where speculators comes in, right? Their
Right.
intention is to purchase, is never to build but to sell back, which kind of like not really helping the ecosystem overall, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I, I'm not going to touch on that latter one because that's pretty traditional in regards to the speculation, people just building and then buying and selling of land. But the interesting one that you brought up was the actual use case for NFTs. I know that there's a lot of talk in regards to NFTs being just photo based, and then you're essentially hoping that the value of the NFT goes up and then you sell it, instead of having an actual true use case. And having the NFT be a ticket is a great use case. So and then also having that like barrier where like people can't enter your event unless they have that ticket essentially. I mean, that just makes sense to me. So, and yeah, I mean, Jar, what do you think about that ticket NFTs?
Yeah, the ticket NFTs, that's an interesting concept of like just the transactional value that goes along with it. Um, Everything else that's going along with the metaverse is still very, very new to me. So everything that you're talking about right now is just new exposure. I haven't thought of a lot of these concepts. So I find everything in general pretty interesting.
Nice. Yeah, and I think it's new to all of us. Don't feel like you're singled out, Jar, because I
Yes.
mean the most that I've done on Decentraland, to be quite honest, was
Mhm.
I think I allocated some of my voting power over to Meta,
Yep.
just because he's a great guy. I know him well, and I know that he's going to push Decentraland and then metaverses as a whole further and get it to a place where all these things that we talk about with AR and then everything else can
Yeah.
actually be implemented, and then we can use it, like actually use it in our real lives outside of just being inside the metaverse. So um yeah, that's all I've done is just delegated voting power. So don't feel like you're out of the loop. I didn't do much on Decentraland yet, and I
Well,
purchased it obviously.
yeah, I know.
So
I experimented with a few of them, Decentraland,
yeah.
Sandbox, and so on. And yeah, I was trying to get into it. It had like a Roblox type of feel to it because I've played that with my kids before, and just the interaction part was just something that you get used to over time the more you use it. Um, Sort of speaking about that, like long-term goals, like is there a number one goal that you have for the metaverse in your perception that you think should be at the top in comparative everything else of the direction that it's going in right now?
I think so for me, how I foresee the metaverse, whether it's for Decentraland or Sandbox or Sono Spaces, whichever, the long-term goal should always be focused on ownership of assets, and another is the ability to conduct transaction. So basically, a business use case, right? And I think that is what the metaverse should be moving forward. Because right now, if we want to compare to Web 2 metaverse like gamings, like all those Fortnite and stuff,
Yeah,
uh, to be frank, I don't think any Web3 metaverse are able to compete with that kind of levels when it comes to gaming, right? So there is another, there should be another focus uh, where people can monetize their content and conduct business within the metaverse. I think that should be the primary focus, at least moving forward. Because right now, when I hang out in the metaverse, a lot of them uh, are creating like parties and competitions, social
yeah,
festivals.
Mhm.
But the metaverse is more than that. The technical capability that is introduced by Decentraland allows you to do more than just that. So I think there's a lot of focus that can be looked into for any of the platforms, including Decentraland, uh, because ultimately all these kids now they are playing Roblox will one day want to move forward to another platform
yeah,
where that they do not just want to play, but they do also want to earn, right? So this is where the Web3 metaverse should come into play, because the good thing is that whatever that you create in the Web3 metaverse belongs to you, your assets, you own the assets, instead of things like, whatever that you play in Roblox that you purchase, but it
Mhm.
doesn't belongs to you. Your accounts can be suspended anytime soon, right? So that is one of the challenge, and I feel like the Web3 gives a different way of people having the ability to own and monetize.
Okay. Okay. Um, in general, is there an age threshold that you're trying to stay away from? Is it like everybody that's an adult 18 or older, or is there like a section for children? Is there a blended space, or how does it work overall
Great
usually for?
question.
Because as a parent, like I know my kids are really into Roblox. It's going to be an easy transition once they learn about this, and if you can earn money
Mm.
as they get older, I'm sure that's going to incentivize them as well.
Yeah.
But is there a special group that you're targeting or not targeting?
So for Web3 Metaverse itself, there are, for example, Decentraland, it would it would be better to attract more mature audience,
Okay.
mature players, because of the open world itself. People can input a number of contents that may offend, certain groups, certain age. So so there
Yeah.
are certain age that can enter, and I think this is where one of the cool things about token gating is that you can control who can come in, right? Because if you are like young, like 8 years old, 9 years old, you have no idea how to use a wallet, you have no idea how to purchase tokens, you have no idea how to purchase an NFT, right? So
Yeah.
it takes a
Yeah.
certain level of maturity to be able to do that, right? And when you are able to do that, that means you attain certain kind of maturity, and then once you have done that, then you are able to, access the platform, which is can can contain adult content, you know yeah. So and I think token gating to me plays a very important part as well, right? It also restricts you to specific people, and then if you, like, say for example, offer the so-called NFT tickets at a certain amount of price, a lot of people won't be able to afford it, especially kids. So
Yeah.
it kind of like, it bars them to fully into a scene that could potentially be an adult related scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I would probably have to agree with that only because I know that, like, for example, we talked about Roblox. CryptoJar talked about his kids playing Roblox.
Mhm.
I know for a fact that there have been predators on Roblox before,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
That's a problem.
there's tons of YouTube videos on it that
Mhm.
you guys can watch up on if you haven't heard about this. But yes, it's a huge problem, and like that's probably why you asked that question, Jar,
That's
as
exactly
well.
where I was going to head to. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because security and everything else is going to be an issue.
yeah, and that way of like barring kids out of it is probably good.
Yeah.
Possibly, I can see it sometime in the future in Decentraland to have a separate thing just for kids, but like, yeah, it's just so there's so many laws. It's risky. It's yeah, like I said, Roblox had their issues,
Yeah. As
and
soon as you go global, like
yeah,
enforcing anything becomes an issue, right?
yeah,
So, and that's what this is going to be. So, yeah.
yeah. But
Maybe
excellent.
I can answer your question, FF, regarding the separation of, for just for kids.
Mhm.
So I would say early last year, if I'm not mistaken, Decentraland created, like, introduced an interesting project called Decentraland Worlds. So now Decentraland has two, like, platform in a way. So there's Genesis, which is the one that everybody knows, where you can drop in, and then you have neighbors, you can access anything within that world. And then Decentraland has this thing called worlds, right, with an S, worlds. So this world is basically an isolated environment. So think about it like a Roblox. So Roblox, you play, it's not like one big world where everyone is accessing everything, right? But in
Right.
fact, Roblox is like, so there's like this scene, a separate scene. So and then you can enter to play that particular game within that scene only. So Decentraland created that. So So let's say if you want to create like a kids scene just for kids, just for children, you can do that. And then that particular scene is only accessible for kids. And when in that you are able to control what's supposed to be on it and what not. So so I think that gives the flexibility for having like an open world and at the same time a closed world of in Decentraland.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, that makes
So that
sense.
separation is going to be important definitely as it grows. So it's good to
Yeah,
see that it exists.
that makes sense. Let's see. Do you have any other questions? Or I think I have some more questions myself.
Uh, you can go ahead. I have some questions. I'm still formulating them to be a
That's
little bit more
that's
specific.
no,
We
that's
got lots of
fine.
messages out here in the chat. I'm trying to scroll through them all. I wanted to say hi to everybody that I haven't
Yeah,
said hi to
yeah.
right now.
I mean, we might as well take a little high break.
Yeah.
Hey Sadie, hey Chris. Who else? There's somebody on your channel, Jar, that
Yeah, I got
was like, "Hey,
Naval.
Jar."
Yep, we
Yeah,
got beginner's block. Chris is here. Sadie's here. Yeah, everyone. The usual suspects are definitely here right now, which is
yeah,
nice to see. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the Matrix Money podcast channel. We're doing a draw on it for 200 mana. That's going to be hashtag mana. If you can go ahead and put that in the comments, we'll be doing a draw later into this conversation. And don't forget to like. So let me
yeah.
just I'm working on getting the drawing tool to work, so it might just take a moment.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Take your time
The first
while.
time. CCM is away today. Usually he's the one that takes over this portion. Might take a moment for me to get that going.
Yeah, he is our all-knowing leader when it comes to live videos. Um, but yeah, we got it, guys. We got it. So I guess another question, just to intrigue the viewers while Jar figures this out, is we talked about direct competitors like Sandbox, and then I think I had briefly made a mistake and called Mana token Meta token in reference to Facebook's Horizons. Right, Facebook has their own metaverse that they've been trying to tout for a while now, and it had some pull, and then after a while, people stopped using it. It appeared to me, but it still had a pretty big user base. And then there's also another big, traditional metaverse that's, I guess you could call it Web 2 metaverse, not a Web 3 one like Decentraland, would be like VR chat. I see all sorts of people creating their own avatars there, and there's parties, etc. Very similar to a Decentraland. However, that's still competition to a Decentraland. And like, how do you feel about the Web 2 metaverse versus the Web 3, and like just overall feeling? That's all. There's no real question here. It's just like, what do you feel about this competition that you guys have to deal with currently?
I wouldn't call it a competition per se. I would say these two, like Web 2 and Web 3, exist to complement each other, rather than to compete with one another. I and one of the things that we need to realize is that whatever happens to Web 2 impacts the whether it's a capital appreciation or user base in Web 3, right? Because not many people would know what's happening in Web 3 without knowing what actually happened in Web 2. So when Facebook rename itself as to Meta, everybody starts to know, oh, what's the metaverse, right? And then some people even attribute the term metaverse to Facebook Meta, right? Even though that's not the case, right? So we do need the progress, the development, and the success of Web2 platforms, so that the Web3 platforms can actually inspire from them, from their success, and then start to progress slowly, right? Because the differences between Web2 and Web3 is it could be management as well, right? They are more decentralized. Some of them has a DAO, like for example, Decentraland DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, where where any development has to be proposed and then accepted by the community, voted, and then you are able to pursue that particular proposal. Whereas in Web 2, it's a different thing, right? It's centralized management, right?
Right.
So, so I think these are two different ways. So you tend to see that Web3 development is slightly slower than Web 2, right? Comparing infrastructure, comparing income, and comparing the overall management structure, you can see that Web3 is still lagging behind, right? So I guess the thing is they are not really like it's very hard. It's like comparing apples and oranges, right? Or
Yeah.
in this case, it's like comparing a grapefruit and a watermelon. So watermelon being the Web 2, right? Is too huge, right? Even the daily active users comparing Web 2 and Web 3 is two different beasts,
Yeah.
right? The Web 2 getting millions, whereas the Web 3 getting hundreds, right? And a lot of them tend to attribute to um, the technical barriers, right? Because the Web 2 tend to attract kids as young as 7, whereas the Web 3 tends to attract mature audiences. So I guess that's the current situation right now. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a competition. Every platform has their own goals and desires to achieve. I think Decentraland and Web3 they have their own goals as well. So yeah, in a way, there's some kind of competition, but yeah, different mission to achieve. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and I made it sort of like not really a question purposely, just to hear you answer it, as truthfully, obviously, as possible. And a lot of people make comments that after I asked the question, I was like, why did I even ask this question? Because that makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the whole decentralized aspect of Web3 makes it a totally different beast.
Mm.
Yeah, they're both fruits, but two different fruits.
Yeah.
So,
Can't compare.
yeah, but I do appreciate the answer to my stupid question.
There are no stupid questions.
I
So
beg to differ.
yeah, this has been good. We're doing a talk with an avatar right now. That's a first for me. So this is this is definitely different. This is fun. So the experience of getting into the metaverse again is something I'm still working on myself. I just wanted to quickly note that if you want to enter in the draw, don't forget to put in hashtag mana in the comments below, and we'll be doing the draw shortly. I'm just getting that tool configured right now. I think that's what I'm doing right here. Just take a second. Pop that up there. There we go. So that is hashtag mana. And do you want to do it in a couple minutes?
Yeah, we can do it in a couple minutes. I sent over a link to our little private chat, guys. If you want, you could bring it up.
Sure.
Just because a lot of people are looking at the markets right now, but I kind of wanted to tailor this to specifically metaverse, since this is our topic of discussion. I know earlier in this live, Bitcoin did, I think, achieve, what was it, 70K, or was it like 69? I can't remember, but Bitcoin's doing what it's doing during bull run, which is great. All of us are happy about that. But I'm just pulling up metaverse, basically defined by coin market cap. So some of these you can look at and be like, this is not really metaverse related. Like ICP is there. I don't think that that's metaverse related. I think ICP is more of like your Ethereum, possibly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but you can see where Decentraland lies here. It looks like they're sort of like in the top 10 of the metaverse tokens in regards to their market cap and price. But in regards to this whole giveaway, I'm giving away 100 of these. So at the current value, with it being pumped, as everything else being pumped because of Bitcoin, will be around $66. So I think that's pretty awesome to see for Mana. And maybe a question before we do the draw is, and I think we had also asked this to the guy who markets for Dash, is price appreciation. How does that affect the ecosystem in Decentraland? Because obviously, when price goes up, everybody's hype on literally anything and everything. Um, but how has it currently affected? And it could be affected the Decentraland platform, or it could be positively. Like, what are your thoughts, Meta, on like price action of a token related to the platform itself?
So the price action, I think depends. For those people who actually bought a ton, will definitely either appreciate the capital appreciation or pissed off with the the down, uh, during the bear market especially, right?
Yeah,
Because I think Mena went down to 39 cents. So
Yeah.
whoever got that is pretty happy with what's happening now. But those
right.
who purchased it at what, $6 a pop back then during the bull market, it's probably still trying to recover, right?
Salty. Yeah,
But at the same time, when you look, the um, bright side of this is that when prices of mana go down, people can afford to buy more mana, and the lands are cheaper than in the past. So, for example, when we look at um, the price of a land back in 2021 to 2022 before the bear market, one small land can be up to between 15,000 to 25,000 USD in mana, right? And that was crazy, right? But
Yeah.
now, um, the same land is now priced about $2,000 to $5,000 in
wow,
mana, right? So people who believe in this platform will see this an opportunity to purchase mana tokens and buy those lands. But those people that had purchased it in the past, during the bull market, is probably still hurt by it. And some of them I've seen are selling it like way below. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or bad thing. I wouldn't want to say something that would hurt their feelings.
yeah,
But the I think this is one of the high risk industry that you are in right now, especially when the intention of purchasing land is to not build on it but to flip on it. So when you are wanting to when your primary intention is to flip on it, um, but your plan fails because of the current market situation, then that's the consequences, right? Of trying to play the speculators role. So when real builders come in and see that this is an opportunity for them to, when the prices are cheap for the lands,
Yeah.
they will get it. Like for me, I got quite a number of lands when the prices are down, because
nice.
I do believe, and because when I purchase land, my intention is never to flip. My intention is to build, because I want to put something that is gonna be forever in the virtual space. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is why, to me, when the price goes down, I see that as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, AG just sort of asked a related question to it. I'm just going to pop it up here on the screen. And you're talking about owning a portion of the space as you're growing and developing it. And he has a question about owning decentralized nodes or host Web3 like you do for Flux and other types of projects that are out there. Is there a component for nodes or node operators that you see in the metaverse space?
So for so the unique thing about Decentraland is that you can host your own node. That means you do not have to rely on the foundation, or the catalyst, um, to host your nodes,
Okay.
host your scene basically.
Mhm.
So maybe a little bit of technical, um, direction here. So Decentraland, so there's Genesis and there's Worlds, right? So in terms of Genesis, the so-called main platform that everybody knows and have visited at least once.
Yep.
Um, whenever you upload a scene, so this scene is actually being sent towards a distributing computer systems, which is about 7 to 8 systems. So pretty decentralized in that manner aspects your scene, right? So it's not like being controlled by a centralized entity. However, in Worlds, this scene when you upload it, these scenes are being hosted by the foundation centralized server. So so that is why for Worlds, it's not expensive. You
Yeah.
just need to own like a Decentraland name, and then you are entitled a 100 megabyte space to unleash your imagination and creativity there. Whereas
Okay.
in yeah, and
So
then
you
whereas in
allocated
Genesis,
space.
correct.
Yeah.
Whereas in Genesis, whenever you upload a scene, it will be sent towards 7 or 8 different nodes that is hosting this, and then you can run your own node and host your own server without relying on this as well. So I think that's one of the beauty about Decentraland is that you have that freedom to host your own nodes, um, for you to run your own world, which
Okay.
is very interesting.
Yeah. Gives you more control as well. That's a nice
Correct.
aspect of it. Yeah, absolutely.
That that question, I don't even think was meant for MetaRyuk looking at the comments, but it was an excellent question, because now we have an answer. There are nodes. You can have your own node.
Yep.
And if you go back to the conversation where we talk about how to make money, you can build on that, right? You can make money through e-commerce. So, when we talk about nodes, a lot of people who are watching are miners on here and
Mhm.
or node operators. If they're from coming from Jar's channel and they're looking to make some coin. So it appears you can make some coin on Decentraland and have your own node stood up and do all sorts of cool things.
Yeah.
But I think right now the people want to get their free mana. So
Yeah. All right.
get to that drawing.
Let me bring up the tool here. Takes a second for me. I think this is it. So we'll give it one more minute. Hashtag mana in the comments. We're going to be doing a draw in 1 minute. What are they winning?
They're gonna win 100 mana tokens.
So
So
your chance to win 100 mana tokens.
yeah.
And how does a winner contact you?
Please go to either my channel or I'll put it here. Well, no, I'm not going to put it here. Go to my channel and then go to the about page, and there should be a contact there. And then that contact should have my email address. Just contact me via email. If you have trouble, then just come to these lives and bug me every single time. Be like, "Where's my mana, dude? Where's my mana?" So that's the best way is to contact me via email. And then again, I will need your Ethereum address, and I will send you your mana token. That's about it.
All right. So we'll get that started. Hashtag mana in the comments. I'm about to get this going right now. Chris thinks that we rigged it, but I'm going to do this live right now, Chris. So this is the StreamYard tool. So we have this podcast selected. Mana, hashtag mana is there. I'm going to start collecting. And so we have 16 entries, and we'll draw. There we go. Pascal.
Wow, Pascal.
Winner. Congratulations, Pascal. So you can go
Congrats.
ahead and contact FF, and he'll set that up for you. Pascal won the last one, right?
Did he?
I think he won one before. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, congratulations, Pascal. We will get you set up. Make sure if you have any issues getting a hold of FF, you can also DM me on X. There's multiple ways to get a hold of us. All the information. Yep.
Don't leave yet. The people who are here, don't leave yet. Mainly because I think he did win one. So I have a lot of mana token. Okay, so I I will give another 100 out So let's do another drawing.
We're doing another
one.
drawing.
Let's roll it back because dude, you can't win everything. And there's people on here who are like, man, when the heck is my turn? So here's your chance. Here's your turn.
All right.
Let's run it back.
We're going to
another
draw
100
again.
mana.
We're going to draw again. So Pascal, you did win. FF is doing another one. So we're going to do another one right now. I'm going to click on the button.
Like
let
DJ
it go.
Khaled. Another one.
TD. There you go.
That's a new name. There we go.
That is a new one for me as well.
There
I
we
am
go.
TD in it. Congratulations.
Right.
Welcome to the podcast. You won 100 mana. So you can go ahead and contact FF. The information is in the description below. Congratulations. All right. There we go. Let me switch it back over here. All right. So I guess we can wrap it up. Any last minute questions that you might have, FF?
No, I kind of just want to give the floor back over to Meta. Anything that he wants to say that possibly he missed, because this is a platform for you all to sort of say what you want to say about the project or how you felt about this interview, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my first live interview with you guys, and I think this is a very unique experience. So will this be like uploaded to YouTube or?
This is streaming live on YouTube.
Live.
This is live right now.
So you can find this on any one of our channels. There's also the main Matrix Money podcast channel. It's live right now. This is also a first time for me doing these type of live chats. So it's fun. I had a great time. It's also great to get to know you and learn more about the aspects of the metaverse. So I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast today.
No worries, man. If I had any last words is that so the metaverse isn't going it's like they are not going anywhere. Like I seen, like, they will always be constantly be developing and progressing. When you look at the recent developments, when you look at banks having virtual twins in the metaverse, whether it's in Web 3 or Web 2, you can see that this space slowly and surely will be, at least in the Web 3 perspective, will be up there, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you look at how the Middle East, the Asia, for example, are continuously exploring metaverse for their own reason. For example, the Japan government, the Korean government are utilizing the metaverse for their citizens. The Saudi Arabian government are also exploring the use of the metaverse, even in Singapore as well, where I'm at, is also exploring the use of the metaverse. Whether it be education or like, for example, China is trying to look into how we can conduct business in the metaverse, right? So this metaverse thing, it's always in development. It's gonna progress, and soon I feel like it's gonna mature, and who knows, one day that we can really achieve the level of Ready Player One.
Yeah, it's definitely in the infancy right now, and it's progressively going. So things are very exciting, especially we're just at the very, very beginning, and there's a lot of things coming. So this is a great chat, and we're really happy to have you on.
Yeah,
maybe we can do it again if you're free, and maybe we can do a follow-up in a few months and just see where things are going and get your perspective on that.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you, CryptoJar FF.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for everyone that's joined us. Pascal, if you're having any issues contacting, you can send me an email and I'll put you in the loop. It's contact@cryptojar.net. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. Have a good one. We'll see you later.
Later.